talk, real people, relevant conversations. The I Am Kiana Scales podcast is dedicated to real conversations about issues, emotions, and experiences that affects the lives of everyday people.
2009. Visit theclosetexperience.com and save 10% with code podcast. The Closet Experience Boutique, where fashion and budget meet. The Closet Experience Boutique, where fashion and budget meet. Save 10% with code podcast. That's PODCAST. Welcome back to the I Am Kiana Scales podcast, episode 2. I am your girl, Kiana Scales. We do the hosting so you don't have to. Today, we have the pleasure of chatting with Novonda Lilly. Novonda Lilly and her husband, Chris Lilly, are owners of Lily's Hot Chicken. She has 25 years of healthcare, human resources, recruiting, and leadership experience. She has led clinical recruitment for national and nonprofit organizations, a graduate of Trevecca Nazarene University, where she obtained a master's in organizational management and a bachelor's in management and human relations. Novonda is a March of Dimes advocate and a champion for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Women of color continue to be sorely underrepresented in leadership roles in corporate America. Despite this underrepresentation, a small subset of women of color have found success as leaders and play key roles in driving organizational change. When a woman of color succeeds, people more than likely contribute her accomplishments to factors outside of her control, such as affirmative action, leading colleagues to spew vicious insults like, she only got the promotion because she's Black. These stereotypes are damaging and portrays women of color as less talented and competent than their colleagues. When these stereotypes in the workplace go unchallenged, they often prevent women of color from receiving their recognition they deserve from their hard work and achievements. I'm conducting an in-depth interview with Mrs. Novonda Lilly, who is currently occupying a senior level position. I am seeking to understand the barriers she has faced as a woman of color, her strategies for ascending through corporate America, and tools she has used to bring about organization change efforts and navigate career risk.
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And this is an excellent opportunity for me to share my truths and my experiences and my walk through progressing my career. What I would say first is that your dreams have to be bigger than your fears. And, the thing is, we often are afraid to apply for the position. We have women of color that will see a job posting and say, oh my gosh, I meet that, but I don't meet that. Mm-hmm. But if you take the perception that the only thing that an employer can do is tell you, yes, you got the job, or no, we selected another candidate. If you walk in your confidence and know the experience that you bring to the table, then you're able to secure the opportunity. So you've got to remove the barriers of society. Because we talk about affirmative action getting you there. No, affirmative action actually opens the door for you to be interviewed. It does not guarantee that you are given the job. So you have to understand that some of the false narratives that you may encounter in the workplace does not have to be your reality. So it really starts with affirming who you are. Walk in confidence, know that you deserve a seat at the table, and take your seat proudly, because we need more women of color in spaces to help make decisions to impact the changes and the platform of diversity inclusion in the workplace.
Okay. You know what? You said some good things right there. But let me ask you this. Have you dealt with being underestimated and undervalued in the workplace? And if so, tell me a little bit about that experience.
So, again, I'm going to start with, you've got to know your worth. And you can't let someone's expectations or perceptions of you be your reality. So I live my life by, if you have a perception of me, but I did not contribute to that perception, then I don't own it. That's not my problem. That's going to be yours. So oftentimes I've been the first African American in numerous positions throughout my career, to at some point I had to ask God, okay, you got to help me. Because it is not often an easy path when you are the only one in your department and no one else looks like you. So I can tell you a time when I had a leader that told me I would never be in leadership.
Oh, wow.
Look at me now. Hey, we connected on LinkedIn. Okay. So, their reality and what they lacked to see in my potential did not dictate who I was. So I've had oftentimes, people will tell you what you can't do, what you can't accomplish. I've been told that I talk to textbook. Help me understand what that means.
I was just about to say, what is you talk to textbook?
I don't really know, but hey, I guess it's a compliment.
That's a new one on me. Okay, then talk to textbook. Mm-hmm.
So you're often, oftentimes you go into a space where you can be in a meeting and you make a recommendation and it's not received amongst your peers, but someone next to you says the exact same thing and it is the greatest idea since sliced bread.
Wow.
You still have to know your value, know what you bring to the table, and you have to help change that platform, and that's why you have a seat at the table. You have a seat at the table to be a voice for everyone and to be able to bring out those inconsistencies. And so when you're working in talent operations where you're responsible and have oversight for the recruitment and selection process, then you're often able to help people understand the unconscious biases and unlock those unconscious biases so everyone has an equal opportunity to gain employment based off of their experience, their skill set, disregarding of their ethnicity. And that's the thing that we have to recognize, because first, if we don't believe that we should be where we are, that if we don't believe that we've earned the seat at the table, then how can you walk in confidence? You cannot allow your peers and, people on the job to say, oh, I don't like her. Well, bless your heart, because I'm here to do a job. And I can guarantee you, if you don't like me, it's not because you know me. It's because you have formed an opinion in your mind that you don't care for the person that's collaborating with you. And that's unfortunate. And oftentimes we'll see that as it's not always just about ethnicity. It's about being a female of color. You have male counterparts that you will see the same type of responses. And let's be real, sisters can be hard on sisters.
Yes.
Because we have some sisters that are in leadership that won't give another sister an opportunity because they feel like they've arrived and they're insecure in their own strengths. And they've not found that it is room out here for everyone to thrive and be successful. And you've got to be able to applaud when someone else and be able to help and mentor others so that they can know the roadblocks that they're gonna face. Because the reality is this: platform hadn't changed. I'm still gonna be black every day I walk into an organization. If I'm the first, I'm still going to encounter some of the challenges that I've encountered over my life. So the platform has not changed, but it's how do you take that position and change the narrative? And it starts with confidence and knowing and understanding that you are valued, your thoughts are valuable, and your skill set and your experience is what got you at the table, regardless of what your peers, co-workers, or whoever has to say. And I would say that if you are an African American in a leadership role, be that champion for someone else. If people interview and they need that feedback, there's some people out there that will tell you that I've told them after the interview, when they say, do you have any feedback for me? And I will talk about, you have to be able to articulate your transferable skill set. You have to be prepared for the role that you want. You can't just think that you're going to interview. Everybody's doing behavioral interview questions, so you've got to be prepared to address those. So yeah, I've experienced that, but see, I'm a little different. Because you're not going to tell me what I'm going to become, because what God has for me, it is for me. And there's not anything or anyone that can change that narrative.
Let me ask you this. Do you think there needs to be more mentorships and perhaps sponsorships to support women of color in the workplace? And what would that look like?
That's an excellent question. So oftentimes what you do is I would recommend that you find someone that you feel is walking that walk and is in that role that you may currently wish to aspire to. Reach out to them and ask them, will they be your mentor? See, sometimes it's not going to be a blueprint for mentorship. Organizations are going towards having mentorships, employee resource groups to help people connect with people that are of the same ethnicity. But you've got to take it into your own hands, and you've got to own your career. And so when you see a role that you wish to be in, and you see someone that appears to be walking that walk and can help serve as a champion for you, even if a mentorship does not exist, it would be a great recommendation to reach out to someone and just send them an email and say, hey, I really want to get into your field. I'd like to learn more. Would you be interested in mentoring me and serving as a champion to help me understand the things that I need to do so that I can be coachable and I can learn and I can prepare myself for the next opportunity?
That makes sense. Let me ask you this. What do you think organizations can do to support and encourage women of color to take leadership roles? Like, over the course of the years you've been working, you said 25 years. You have 25 years of experience. Like, explain to us what you've seen. Like, do they encourage women of color to take leadership roles? Or is it just like, well, we're not going to encourage them to apply for this, because they don't really want you in that space?
Well, I think that when you think about the space of diversity, equity, and inclusion, it starts at the top of the organization. And it has to be a culture that is inclusive, and people have to feel comfortable with applying. They have to feel comfortable that there are opportunities to grow and develop within an organization. So you have to actually implement programs that promote the opportunity for advancement within the organization, regardless of your ethnicity. It should be based off the opportunity. If you have the skill set and the opportunity to do a role, then you should apply to it. Oftentimes what you find is we'll apply for a job, we don't get it, so we get discouraged. Again, it goes back to having that confidence and knowing the experience that you bring to the table, building those networks and key relationships that will help prepare you for the next level, and being receptive to feedback. Because let me tell you, oftentimes, people get offended. I've helped people prepare resumes, and one of my biggest things is I'm like, I'll give you a recommendation. I'll help you prep for an interview. But, it's up to you to take the recommendation that's been provided. Right. So I think that there is opportunity out here. I think that there is a lack of confidence to move in the spaces that exist. And then there is also that unconscious bias, because people tend to hire people that look like them because that's your comfort zone.
Right.
But if an organization creates a culture to where women of color, minorities, and just general population feels that they have an opportunity to excel within an organization, then you'll see that your retention numbers will increase. And organizations have to move away from what I call check in the box. So we have a diversity initiative, and so we're going to go out in the community and we're going to build relationships with minority organizations, and we're checking the box. But what else are we doing to help that translate into an opportunity? So let's think about, when we think about internships for college students, are organizations truly creating an internship that results in employment? Are you out here training students, preparing them, but then there's a lack of opportunity once they graduate?
That's what I like to call photo ops. You like to look like you're looking good, but you're not following through.
Exactly. So I think that really what's key is that the organization has to be has to have the right culture. So what I'm going to say to somebody that's applying, you need to be interviewing these companies as well. Just because they have an